The stage lights baked me in their glare, even before I had spoken a word. The investors' lounge was packed. White shirts, wine glasses, men with thick watches, women in crisp linen. But the lights scorched the line between me and them. I could barely see beyond the outlines. Still, I planted my sketchbook on the podium, heart thudding. I'd spent 3 months preparing for this moment. My entire vision was trapped inside those pages. The vertical township, the playable rooftops, a block that breathed with the city instead of scorning it. My name is Anand Mehra, I began, voice dry. I could feel the shimmer of sweat down my back. Monsoon humidity, nerves knotting with the heat. And I want to show you how we could live, how Mumbai can grow without losing its heart. There was a polite cough near the front. I paged open my sketchbook, letting everyone see the shimmering pencil outlines. The vertical township towered up. I'd drawn those lines 1,000 times, but now, as I flipped the sheet over, I saw the edge curl up with nervous hands. You see, a vertical township. It uses airflow designs modeled after our old wadas to allow air and light at every level. Rooftop playgrounds double as water catchments. If you scale this, A man near the back, tie askew, whispered something. Laughter rippled like a secret. I tried to ignore it, focused on my drawing, desperate for someone to see. The rains, if we use these rain screens and, someone nearer, kids on roofs, huh? Another, who will fund your flying chawl, beta? My throat tightened. I heard my uncle's words looping in my mind. You dream big, Anand, but who do you think you are? Investors began shifting, closing notebooks. One, more blunt than the rest, actually stood and stretched. The host, gray-suited and fidgety, tried to save me. Thank you, Anand. That's very imaginative. Next, I fumbled my sketches, hands shaking. The lights flickered as the next team advanced. I shuffled off stage, the heavy lump of rejection stuck somewhere between my lungs. The lounge already felt emptier. That night, I walked home from Nariman Point in the thunder-damp heat, too disgraced for taxis. As I crossed through Kalaba, the memory of the laughter trailed me. Each step home weighed double. There's humiliation you expect, strangers, colleagues. But family disappointment seeps deeper. 3 days after my public failure, we sat in my parents' one-bed flat in Malad. Monsoon ran in chains down the window, drafting the room in blue twilight. My father picked apart old invoices at the table while my mother watched TV dramas. She muted the volume when she saw my face. I wanted to disappear. You should have asked Ajay Mama, my mother began, eyes flicking toward the chipped shelf of family photos. He knows that builder in Vashi, father grunted. Most people just look for respectable jobs, Anand. Nonsense drawings? Do you know how hard your dada worked? Plumbers don't dream these airy towers. I tried to explain again the air wells, the way the design saved energy, but my voice was brittle. My words only jammed the air. My older cousin Ravi visited that Sunday with his meaty laugh and bravado. At dinner, he crowed. Anand, they laughed you off stage, yeah? Next time show them a sketch of flying autos, nah? At least you'll get a viral video. I ate in silence. Even my little sister Mira tried to avoid my eyes. That night, I lay on the floor, as I had since childhood, mind full of white noise and the city's distant horns. The days blurred. My father got me interviews with construction firms who wanted site supervisors, nothing creative. One firm asked if I'd draw up plumbing diagrams. Another had me designing showroom kitchens. I nodded, worked quietly, carried my real vision in secret, wetting the pages in faint hope. But every week there was some reminder. How's the empire, Architect Sahib? Or a door shut in my face. Mumbai is a city of ambition, but it also likes to see you stumble. Grief colored my world. But somewhere beneath that weight, a tiny clarity sharpened in me. I could wait, hustle, fail again, or I could leave the room quietly. 3 years. That was how long it took for rejection to ripen into something that barely stung anymore. I found a job with a German firm building green tech campuses in Bangalore. It wasn't Mumbai, but it was work building up, learning ferrocement and passive airflow. I started late and finished later, copying construction diagrams deep into the night. I learned Kannada, ate meals alone. I sent every rupee back home, except what I needed. Even still, dreams have a flavor that doesn't fade. Late after site visits, I'd dig out my battered notebook and sketch Mumbai's skyline, rising jagged and green. One wet spring, our German manager called me in. He barely met my eyes, just agreed to a leave of absence. "I can't promise you a job if the contract ends," he warned. I nodded anyway. I'd heard through an engineer about an upcoming design competition, the B.K. Patel's social housing project in Mumbai. Unsolicited, open to proposals from anywhere. The city council desperate for something new. They wanted sustainable, affordable housing by the railway in Dadar, a corridor soon to be choked with bumper-to-bumper high-rises. Sitting at my table, in a flat, smelling of masala and cement dust, I worked for nights that bled right into morning. My drawings were more unruly now, my lines more economical. Playgrounds on rooftops, stunning crosswinds, courtyards stacked on one another like old chawls. Vertical gardens using the runoff from monsoon drainage systems. Residences layered between commerce and gathering spaces instead of boxed off. Mumbai up in the clouds, but still listening for the train's rattle beneath. Clarity washed over me. It wasn't about grandeur, but survival. Lively corners, shade under every archway, the way the air should never stop moving. I submitted the design without confidence, only hope. By then, I'd learned that you can only toss your work into the world's mouth and hope it shows mercy. 6 months. I didn't hear anything but the daily churn until that call crackling came. "Mr. Mehra, congratulations. The panel loved your work. You've been shortlisted. Can you come to Mumbai next week for final interviews?" The words sat on the receiver for a moment, as if weighing my worth. I mumbled an incoherent yes, heart hammering. Back in Mumbai, the air tasted of the ocean. Old concrete, the sharpness of possibility. The final interview was in the city council offices, wood-paneled and sun-spattered. The committee, 3 men and 2 women, scanned my proposal with unreadable faces. The oldest, a woman with her hair coiled in silver, smiled at me. "Your design actually feels like Dadar. Too many of these modern types want towers without memory. They want a home, not a showroom," I said. I saw her nod. That was it. I'd done all I could. I returned to Malad, waiting for the city's unpredictable mercy. When the official selection was announced, my phone rang until it died. Old classmates, that one colleague from the construction firm, cousins, even Ravi. But I didn't respond, not yet. I took a bus down Marine Drive, wind tearing my hair, just to remember who I was. They flashed my design across the small newspapers. Then the time-sketched renderings celebrated for restoring Mumbai's spirit, for offering low-income families not just a shelter, but dignity. Officials used it for photo ops, but I only wanted to see the drawings built. Construction started in the next season. The council called for frequent site visits. Could I oversee the details? Ensure the contractors understood the blueprints? I agreed instantly, then hustled a small rental, 1 window and no lift, just outside Dadar East. Each morning, waking to the clatter of the trains and the scent of frying onions from below, I remembered each line I had drawn now turning into brick and rebar. I walked the site with a helmet and rolled papers, directing masons, showing them how the airflow